Novak Djokovic is one of the best players of all time, and you know what they say, you play how you practice. So what if I told you he has a go-to hitting session plan that he uses to improve both his technique and his tactics? You want to try it out? What's up team, Coach Joshua here from TennisTactics.com. Today we're looking at a very common way that Novak Djokovic structures his hitting sessions. And these hitting sessions are clearly optimized for two things: repetition of good technique and good tactics. So I'm breaking down his hitting session and helping you develop a practice plan to develop good technique and good tactics too. So let's get into it. But first, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button so I can bring you more tennis tactics. Alright, so this is a 1 hour hitting session that is absolutely primed for developing top tier ball control. As you're getting started, feel free to keep the pace a little slower and then increase the pace as you keep hitting. But in this type of tactical tennis practice, your ability to control the landing zone of the ball is way more important than how hard you're hitting. So when you're running through this, prioritize hitting your targets. Starting off this session, I want you to mentally divide the court into thirds. Novak often starts his hitting sessions by hitting through the middle third of the court. Playing deep and through the middle should be a home base for players of all levels. This reinforces good spacing between the player and the ball, and it also helps us to prioritize depth over angles. As you're hitting through the middle, try and get that ball to land past the service line as often as you can. I want you to spend a good 15 minutes here getting things warmed up and setting the pace of play for today's session. This should start out as easy hitting, but I want you to keep your footwork sharp in the smaller space. Make sure that whether you're hitting a forehand or a backhand, you're getting the body to the side of the ball. That's really going to help you produce some long, fluid strokes. If you want, you can even lay down some lines on the court. This will give you a target, just like I drew in the video. If you haven't done this before, you might find it difficult to keep the ball through the center lane. But the more you do it, the better your ball control will get, and it's going to get easier. Being able to maintain a deep middle ball keeps the court closed. And we say this because it reduces the amount of potential angles the players have to hit into. At the end of the day, tennis is really a straight ahead game. So hitting through the middle third is a great foundation to build upon. Make sure you practice hitting this target. Now after we hit through the middle to warm up, we're going to move to the outer thirds of the court. And for phase 2 of our hitting session, we're going to move to the deuce side. If you're a right-hander like Djokovic, this will be your forehand. The goal of this segment is to hit from outer third to outer third, going cross court. Now we're practicing what's called an open position. And again, we call it this because the angles are open. Open court points are built on cross-court shots, and here you should focus on making contact with the ball out in front of your body over and over and over again. If one of you hits a little late, the ball's going to go middle. If one of you hits really late, it's going to go down the line. Either way, try to keep playing to the third that you're both aiming to. Pay close attention to the way you're timing the ball in this drill and make sure you're creating that early contact point. Stay here and practice hitting this target for about 10 minutes. And the whole time, I want you to prioritize hitting forehands. After that, we're going to spend 10 minutes hitting to the outer third of the court on the ad side. And during this segment of the practice, make sure you prioritize hitting your backhand. Too many players avoid hitting their backhands in practice and in matches. Even if the cross-court rallies look a lot rougher in this segment of practice, commit to hitting backhands. Djokovic is one of the most balanced players in the world when it comes to backhands and forehands. And he got this way by specifically allocating time in practice to hitting backhands. And if you only have 10 minutes, work on the deep cross court. One piece of advice I find myself giving to players on this drill all the time is to not compare your performance on the backhand side to the forehand side. Treat these as separate skills. The more you do, the more you'll appreciate the improvement in your backhand rather than just focusing on the errors. So we've spent the first 35 minutes on 3 drills, warming up the foundational shots. Now we're ready to transition to our final drill. The last 25 minutes is a ball control drill called the 21 or the 2-1 pattern. This is a ball control drill designed to teach you about purposeful shot selection. At first, you might find this difficult if you haven't done it before, but the more you practice it, the better you'll get. The version of this drill that Djokovic is running puts player 1 on offense and player 2 on defense. Player 1 is always going to hit 2 shots cross court and 1 shot down the line. Player 2 is going to hit every ball deep cross court. Djokovic is running this drill in the offensive position. He's getting practice flowing through both holding direction and changing direction on both wings. And his hitting partner is getting practice covering the court and responding with a deep cross-court ball. This is a good habit to build. Run this drill for time and then switch roles so you get to practice being in the offensive and defensive positions. And there you have it. A 1 hour hitting session inspired by one of the greatest players of all time. Djokovic has clearly gotten a lot out of it, and I'm confident it can help you in your game as well. If you're hitting this week, give it a try and let me know how it goes in the comments. If you want to learn even more tennis tactics, I'll be dropping a ton of free content here on YouTube. So go ahead, like this video, subscribe to my channel, maybe ring the bell. I'll be dropping video lessons on my entire tactics library at least once a week, and you don't want to miss it. And if you want even more tennis tactics, head on over to my website, TennisTactics.com, and sign up for my email list. Until then, hit your targets. We'll talk soon.